everyone, welcome to another Teen Tuesday. Today we're going to talk all about using wigs for cosplay. So first and foremost, you're probably wondering, where do I buy wigs for cosplay? So I'm going to go through a handful of different options that all have a different level of cost and kind of talk about the pros and cons of each one. So the most affordable and most easily accessible option would be party store wigs, Halloween store wigs, or wigs that you get during Halloween time at Walmart or other big box retailers. So some pros of this is they're usually super affordable. They're really accessible because there's party stores, and during that time of year, during Halloween, there's Halloween stores and Halloween stuff everywhere. And there tends to be a lot of different unique styles and colors. But some cons is that they are usually the poorest quality out of all wigs that you will get. Part of this poor quality is they usually are super shiny, which means that they don't really look natural when you wear them, because most people, even if you have shiny, healthy looking hair, don't have the level of shine that is on a Halloween store wig. And most of them aren't heat resistant. They're cheap, and so they're made out of cheap plastic, so that means if you want to do any type of heat styling, it's just going to melt. So the next most affordable option is eBay and Amazon. So usually wigs that you find on eBay and Amazon are cheaper than some places that specifically sell cosplay wigs. And they tend to be a little bit better quality than party store and Halloween store wigs. Part of finding a good quality wig on eBay or on Amazon is reading the reviews. So that's a plus of these retailers, is that people review, especially Amazon, people review these products, and so you can read about how people reviewed it, and if people thought it was a super shiny wig, a super cheap looking or feeling wig, and then you can avoid buying a wig like that. And sometimes, again, especially with Amazon, but Amazon and eBay, this can be the case. You can find already styled wigs for really popular characters. So there are like a ton of Harley Quinn wigs on Amazon and on eBay that are already in pigtails, already dyed with the two-tone dye, whether it's the red and black or the red and the blue. So that can be an advantage of going to these retailers if you have a really popular character who has a really specific style that might be hard for you to style on your own. You might be able to find it already done on Amazon or on eBay. But some cons to this is that you can find low to middle end quality wigs on these sites. Not everything that's on there is great. I have had really good luck on Amazon before, but I mean, as with anything, you also can have some bad luck with Amazon or retailers like that. And it's hard to know if you're getting something that's heat resistant. You have to read the product descriptions really carefully, and even then it might say it's heat resistant as a advertising point, and then you get it and you try to use heat to style it, and you melt the wig. And then the best quality but also highest price point option would be Arta Wigs and Epic Cosplay Wigs. Both of these are online retailers that sell cosplay wigs. My personal preference is Arta. They tend to have a little bit bigger wig caps. And so if you have thick hair or a bigger head, they tend to be a better fit than Epic Cosplay, which tends to generally make their wig cap a little bit smaller on the wig. But some pros of both of these sites is that they're high quality, heat resistant wigs. There are a lot of different style and color options. But some cons is that they are pricey, and these sites, because they sell to cosplayers, and the expectation for most cosplayers is that they're going to do their own styling on the wig, a lot of these styles are not what we would call wearable right out of the bag. You can't just pull it right out of the bag and put it on. It might require some styling, to really look good when you wear it. Also in this category of like costuming and cosplay related wig retailers that you might want to look into is Wigs is Fashion and 5 Wit Wigs. I haven't used either of these retailers, but I have seen people online rave about them, so also worth looking into, but again, also on this higher price range because they are high quality heat resistant wigs. So after that, after you've looked and you've shopped and you've priced everything out and you've found the perfect wig and it's arrived, how do you wear a wig? So as you can see, I have all my cosplay and my makeup on and I'm ready to put my wig on. The first step is you're going to want to start with a wig cap. These are easily available. Any site that sells wigs will also sell wig caps, and frequently when you buy a wig, they'll throw in a wig cap for free. So this is one that I got for light hair to go under blonde and lighter hair wigs. I've had it for a long time, so it's a little bit stretched out, but it still does the job. So there are types where it's closed at the top, and then there are types like this where it's a tube. I prefer this because this is easier to put on. So you just open it up so that your head can fit through. You put it all the way over your head like you were putting on a headband, and then you just want to make sure that this thick like edge part is in the front and is going to end up along your hairline, and that this is in the back, and then the other end, and then you pull it over your head, keep that edge to the edge of your hairline, and you pull all of your hair into it. If you have longer hair, you may need to braid or style your hair in some way that it'll all go into the wig cap. But my hair is relatively short, so most of the time I can fit it in the wig cap without doing anything just fine. And then just going to smush the hair down a little bit, spread it out throughout the wig cap so that I can have it be as flat as possible. And I'm going to get my ears out. And then once you have your wig cap where you want it, you want this edge to be as close to your hairline as you can, and you want as much of your real hair to be covered as possible. Sometimes that's harder to do than other times. But also, I'm going to put on a wig with bangs, so the sides will be covered when I put the wig on. And then just gonna undo my wig from how I stored it braided. And then some people like to, one ways that people say to get into long wigs is to kind of like flip it inside out and then like flip it on. But I don't really like to do that, so that is a way that so that you can flip it, that the like front is facing where it's going to be, and then you flip it all the way over on. I don't like to do that because I feel like it messes up the fibers too much. Like everything just, all the hair goes everywhere when you do that. So I just kind of like take it around and start with the front. This wig does have a little clip right in the front. So if you find that your wig is slipping, you can kind of put that into your real hair and secure it. But if you have a good fit on your wig cap, it should stay on real nicely. So make sure that you have the front all settled, and then pull all of your real hair into the back of the wig cap. And once all of your real hair is inside the wig cap of the wig, then you just adjust accordingly. So obviously I'm gonna straighten the bangs out of my eyes. Oh, so also a note about, if you can see, I lighten the color of my eyebrows because this is a lighter wig and I naturally have dark hair. This is a great way to make your wig looks super natural looking is making sure that your eyebrows match your wig. Well, they don't have to exactly match because most people's natural eyebrows are a couple shades darker than their hair color. But them being in the same tone family, so brown, blonde eyebrows for a blonde wig, and especially with anime characters that have super unnatural color hair, if you change your eyebrows to that color, it really makes it look like your hair was meant to be that color. And I can go into more about how I change the color of my eyebrows in the makeup tutorial video next week. And then you just, you make sure you've got it how you like it. With this one, I like to pull some stuff to the front so the sides are covered and my natural hair is covered on the sides. Maybe not that thick of a section. And then, you can do any brushing out to make it look presentable once you have it on. Anything that was kind of like disheveled in the process of putting it on. And then you're ready to go out onto the con floor. So after you wear a wig all day at a convention, it's gonna get tangly. So here's a wig that I wore and have yet to brush out since I last wore. And as you can see, it just gets all tangled up. So you're gonna wanna brush that out. I say brush out, but I almost never use brushes on wigs. I almost always use a wide tooth comb, and I also have a rat tail fine tooth comb for like really tough knots or doing styling. But for just brushing it out, I always use a wide tooth comb. So right now I have my wig head set up on a wig clamp. I got this at Sally Beauty Supply. I think you can probably get them online too. But it's just a clamp that clamps down on the edge of a table, and then has this movable like stick that you can then put, because most wig heads have a little hole in the bottom, so that's meant for your wig head to go on. These wig heads, I think I got them at Hobby Lobby, but I think they also sell them at Sally Beauty and other places having to do with like wigs and hair and stuff. And this is another thing you probably can get online or at other craft stores. So I just put the wig on it so that I have a sturdy base to comb the wig out on, and then I usually put a pin or two. The hole is so small, like it won't make a hole in the wig cap, or it probably will go in like a ventilation hole that's already in the wig cap, so you don't have to worry about damaging your wig cap by putting a pin in. I think one will probably be fine, but that just secures it so when you're pulling down on the hair, it's not slipping off of the wig head. And then to comb or brush out a wig, you're going to want to start at the bottom of the wig and just take a smallish section, a handful of the hair. Hold on, I have to turn this closer to me. And so you want to start at the bottom, because if you start like you normally would brush your hair up at the top, especially with like a long wig, you have a long way to go, and you will sometimes, knots that are already in there, you will be tightening them up by just pulling down on them and pulling all those fibers taut. You'll just be tightening up the knots, and it'll make it harder for them to get out. So you want to start at the bottom so that you're catching knots that are loose, and that you're catching knots right when they start. And you just want to brush downward and move up in little sections. When it starts to get easy and you're not catching any knots, and it starts to get easy to pull the comb through, then you can move up a little bit and see if you can catch some knots from higher up. And you keep going that way until you reach the top of the hair. You want to make sure you get the underside of each piece too, especially right where the wig, like around where the hair falls around the nape of your neck. The longer you have that wig, the more and more, that's like what will really get moved around while you're wearing it, and that will get really, really tangly. So you want to make sure that you're going in under the nape of the neck and getting all of that as well. All right, and I also wanted to mention, if your wig is really tangly and you want some help of some type of detangler, there's a handful of different things that you can use. So there are detangling sprays made specifically for synthetic wigs. A lot of times they're silicone-based sprays, which is nice because the silicone lubes up all of the fibers in the wig, making it really easy to run your comb through, and it's also a material that plays really nicely with the essentially plastic synthetic material that the wig is made out of. You also can use conditioner, but you want to dilute the conditioner with water. I would say probably 3 parts water to 1 part conditioner. And even then, you don't want a conditioner that's like super moisturizing for your hair, because this isn't real hair and the oil will just sit on the wig if it's something with a lot of different like argan oil or something like that that's meant to be super like deep conditioning for real hair. It will just make the wig oily. So that's why you want to dilute it down really good, and I wouldn't use a conditioner that's meant to be super moisturizing to real hair. Another thing, and my go-to thing, is fabric softener. So again, fabric softener plays well with the synthetic hair because it's meant to soften synthetic fabrics in the wash, so fabrics that are essentially made out of mostly plastic. And again, you want to dilute that down. I would say, again, that 3 parts water, 1 part fabric softener. Put that into a spray bottle. You would do that for the fabric softener or the conditioner. Spray the wig down with that, and so that should make the wig, again, it'll lubricate the fibers so that you can really get the tangles out. And fabric softener should also soften up your wig a little bit if your wig is getting kind of a little like fuzzy and frayed from being brushed out a lot or being used a lot. The fabric softener has the additional benefit of softening the wig while you detangle. So once you've combed out all the sections, like I've done here, so it's all nice and detangled now. For long wigs like this, I like to store them braided. So it doesn't have to be a complicated braid, just a 3-section braid. Can be really loose. You don't want to add tangles in to what you've just done. But a loose braid will keep it from getting more tangled in storage, so you don't undo all the hard work you just did. In terms of wig storage, I have an old, or not an old, but I have a shoe rack, like those back of the door shoe racks where you put the shoes on all of the loops. So I use that to store all my wigs, so I store all my wigs hanging. You can store your wigs on wig heads like this, but that takes up a lot of room. And if you're really trying to save space, you can store wigs in a plastic bag, the bag that the wig came in, or just a Ziploc bag. If you're going to store it in a bag, I really would recommend that you put a long wig into a braid so that it doesn't get all tangled up back in the bag. But yep, so this is all set to go into storage now until I'm ready to wear it again. You may also be wondering how often you have to wash your wig. Because it's not real hair and so it's not creating its own natural oils and all that jazz, you don't have to wash it nearly as often as you would wash your hair. You don't have to wash it after every time you wear it. The only instances that I wash wigs is obviously if it gets dirty, like if something gets in it or on it, which hopefully doesn't happen, but you know, accidents happen. So if it has actual literally something, food, something gross in it, obviously you're going to want to wash it then. If I want to wash out any product to restyle a wig, so if the wig has hairspray or gel or any other type of styling product in it that I want to get out of it because I want to repurpose this wig, I will wash it for that reason. And I will wash it to restore the wig. So basically if a wig gets like curly wigs that fall out of their curly style after a lot of different use, or wigs that are rough and frizzy from lots of use, I will wash, and then I will also usually soak in some fabric softener to restore the wigs. And so those are the only really times that I wash a wig. Otherwise, if the wig is good and I detangled it fine and it's still looking great and you know it's not dirty or has a smell or anything, it can just do its thing, and I'll wear it again. I have this wig here, which I'd like to restore and hopefully return to its original style, because its original style was a really short, really tight curl. And now from an intense detangling and just a lot of wear and tear, it's fallen out of that tight curl. And with curly wigs, when you wash them, they should go back to the style that they were in when you bought them, because it's a plastic fiber. It was made to be in a certain shape, and so getting it wet and it drying should restore it back to that original shape. So I've got a basin, just like one of these foot baths here, of pretty cold room temperature water. You don't want hot water if you want to restore a wig to its previous style, because hot water will change the shape of the plastic. The heat will change the shape of the plastic fibers. So you want enough water in there that you can submerge it. You can do this in the sink. You could fill up the whole tub. I just got this basin because I didn't want to have to fill up the whole tub. So submerge the wig. Hold on, let me move it. So you've got your cold water, you've added, I would say, use your best judgment on how much shampoo. Like a normal amount that you would put in your hand to wash your own hair is probably fine. But if a longer wig, you might want to add a little bit more. But, just so you get a nice lather going in the water, and you want to agitate the wig so that you get it through all parts of the wig and the wig fibers. And then you can rinse it out. Just letting much of that water drain out of the wig. Less we have to rinse out in terms of soap. And then you want to rinse it out. If you're doing this in the sink, you can rinse it out in the sink. But as bathtub is also fine. Sprayer in the shower would be great. You basically want to rinse it off until all the water runs clear and there's no more soap in the wig. I just finished rinsing the wig out. I wrung out all the excess water so you can get as much water out of it. And then I towel dried it a little bit, and now I just put it back on the wig head to dry. I put a towel under my wig head setup here because it will continue to drip as it dries. While it's wet, you may be very tempted to sort out this tangly mess and do some detangling now while it's wet, but I wouldn't recommend that you do that. Wait to brush out your wig again until it dries, because the water doesn't help you detangle. It actually makes it worse.